Now the mathematical expression, see, first thing what we need to know is the induced EMF E is nothing but minus d phi by dt, correct? Okay, now this as equation number 1. Now what we know is the EMF what we are getting, it's basically sinusoidal wave, right? Now the EMF will be given by E is equal to E naught sine omega t, alright, because it's a sinusoidal wave. Now here two very important things. So E naught is the maximum amplitude, okay, or you can say that it is the maximum EMF, and then you have the omega t value. See, omega is the frequency or the angular frequency, t is the time period, okay. So now here, see, one very important thing what you guys should know is the armature is rotating, correct? See, whenever it is rotating, it rotates by an angle of theta, okay. So if there is theta, theta is nothing but omega into t. Now this actually you guys have learned it in last year. So last year you had circular motion. Theta is the angular displacement, and then omega is the angular velocity, and t is the time. So you have theta is equal to omega into t. Okay, so this is one thing. All right. So what we know is induced EMF, and then the equation for the EMF, and we have theta value. These three we know. Okay, next is, see, the flux which is linking with the coil. So flux, the formula for the flux was nothing but phi is equal to BA cos theta, correct? Right, so this is the formula. Now, if there are n number of turns in the armature, the coil, then we'll have phi is equal to NBA into cos theta. Now remember, B is the magnetic field, A is the area, okay, area of the cross section. Okay, fine. So we'll get phi is equal to NBA cos theta. Now what was theta? Omega t. Substitute. We have phi is equal to NBA cos omega t. So we got phi value, right? Now what was the formula for the EMF? So d phi by dt we need to calculate. So differentiate this. So we have d by dt of NBA cos omega t. Now NBA are constants. So if you take it outside and if you differentiate just cos omega t, we'll get this as minus NBA omega sin omega t. Correct? Okay, now what was the induced EMF? Minus d phi by dt. So if you put the negative sign, we get E is equal to, so plus NBA omega sin omega t. Correct? So if you compare this equation with E naught sin omega t, we get NBA omega as E naught, meaning the maximum EMF what we can get from an AC dynamo is NBA omega. So to increase the output of the AC dynamo, the number of turns has to be more, or the magnetic field has to be more, or the area of cross section has to be more, or the last thing is the speed at which the armature is rotating, that has to be more, right? So number of turns can be increased only to a certain extent. Same thing which goes with B also and A also. Okay, only to a certain limit we can extend, but omega can be maximized. That's the reason what they do is, see, joke falls is at a higher level, right? So if the water falls from very too much of height, so if the water is falling, the turbine rotates in a very high speed. That's the reason more electricity will be produced. Okay, so again I'll just repeat the whole thing. See, we have the induced EMF formula minus d phi by dt, and then we have the formula for phi, which is NBA cos theta. So you take that and then you substitute theta as omega t, and then you differentiate that, you get d phi by dt, correct? So d phi by dt becomes minus NBA omega sin omega t. So then the induced EMF will be NBA omega sin omega t. Okay, so this is the induced EMF.